Marie Kondo says to visualize the life or the home or the space that you want to have. And this sets in mind the kind of intentional things you try to bring into your space, including people, food, plants, energy, thoughts. And so I want to visualize the kind of life that I want to have in 2020, including the kind of things that I want to bring into my life, including types of people, types of food, and the energy and the thoughts, vibrations that I want to have in my life.
I've been thinking, as we all do, towards the end of the year, exactly what it is that you want to take into the new year and all the things you want to leave behind. You know, all the resolutions that never quite made it past January of this year. And it's amazing what, lies we tell ourselves in January where we say, I want to do this and there'll be more of this. And even though there might be great things that anybody would and could and should want to do, realistically, you either put too much on your plate or you just know that you won't be able to go cold turkey on those things. So I have done a bit of a filtering process and I want to set myself up for success. So I don't want my January 2020 goals to be so many and also so overwhelming that I can't complete them all. So what actually is a good idea, as most people will tell you, is to start in October, November, December. Ramp yourself up, not because of the hype of the 1st of Jan, new year, new me, but it definitely is a very powerful shift in intention and shift in purpose and shift in goals. And I always find that it really is a great motivator to start on a brand new page. It helps you to sort of forgive yourself for things that you thought that you would have done, goals that you maybe didn't complete in the year before, and then it sort of starts you on a brand new page for the next year. So my goals for 2020, or maybe my word for 2020 first, I've thought about this a lot and I wanted it to be groundbreaking and amazing, and it actually just kept coming back to the same word, which is vision. And I know it's so corny, like 2020 vision. I'm sure that's going to be everybody's word for the year, but as corny as it is, I really do feel that that's the one thing in my life that I have almost been afraid to attach to, almost been afraid to aspire to, is what is my vision for my life. My sort of journey, as corny as that word is, but yeah, my journey of self-acceptance and just the discovery of what it is that makes me tick and what it is that I like or that I don't want anymore in my life has led me to realize that the fears that I've attached to aspiration and ambition aren't necessarily because I'm a very ambitious person. I know I'm not, but my vision of my life is where I lack a bit of imagination. So I noticed that my lips were so chapped it wasn't even a joke. So here are my 3 options. This broken lipstick, not an option. Okay, it was probably 5 rand. This lip gloss, oh my gloss, by Rimmel. I love Rimmel products. This is gonna make me look like, let's see, not bad, not bad. But the chapstick, okay. And this is a pretty awesome one, although I don't like the way it applies. You have to kind of like look and not squeeze it too much, and then it's really like redder than it seems. I don't know, I'm doing this. But here we go, problem solved. Okay. Alright, so the process of establishing my goals for the year and my word for the year has just been over the past couple of weeks, taking a morning after the gym, having my coffee and really taking a moment to write down a journal entry, whether it's, my thoughts that I'm thinking or goals or financial goals, budgeting, sort of relational things that I've had to work out. Wanting to find out what my fears, my hopes and my dreams are, all related to my word of the year, which is the vision. I think in years past, my resolutions or my goals have been not superficial, but really sort of periphery to what I was doing in life. You know, it was almost like you go with the daily grind and nothing much changes. And even though you're in a pretty awesome position, you aren't really grateful for the things you have. You know, there's a lot you take for granted, and so your resolutions are like, be healthier, be fitter, which are still admirable and awesome things. But this year, because of my sort of employment situation and everything else that's gone on, has been such a profoundly shifting year in so many things, whether it's my perspective of myself, the way that I see myself, the way that I project myself onto others, the way that or how much I care what people think of me. So many things have slowly but surely shifted in my perspective, and it has made me less fearful, I think, about the future, about uncertainty, being comfortable with discomfort, and really being able to face myself each day with the perhaps uncomfortable thoughts and questions that I might have about how I'm living my life and how I'm interacting with others. So in one of my journaling sessions, I thought that I had a few tryouts of my word for the year, and gratitude is one of them. I mean, gratitude should be for your word for every day, no matter what's happening in your life. So that will never be something that I hopefully something that I forget or ever get tired of. But yeah, gratitude is a sort of a daily thing that I try to incorporate, whether it's just being appreciative of things that you took for granted is easier said than done. But when things come down to the wire, you know, when you're restricting your budget, when you're limiting your spend, you really do realize how much you took for granted. You know, when you say things like, oh, I won't be able to afford a cappuccino now. It's like, girl, okay. There are bigger problems in this world. And so slowly but surely, I'm feeling more and more gratitude and relating more and more to people who are really struggling out there. So that's one thing. But back to vision. So my vision for the year, my word for the year is vision. And so for me, what that means in the most literal sense, obviously, where we're talking about 2020 vision, being able to see clearly and see perfectly, the three words that or the three ideas that I had were clarity. You know, I want to have clarity of my purpose and clarity when it comes to my intentions. The second idea was perspective, which includes gratitude, you know, being able to see the macro and the micro vision of it. And then also perspective in terms of picking my battles. And the third idea was beauty or joy, that when you have clarity, when you have perspective, and when you have joy, I think that's when, you know, your vision is crystallizing. That's when you really are seeing the reality, or actually living in the reality. So for me, yeah, joy, enthusiasm, and love. So a story that I love to think of often is when we were at youth, like literally 20 years ago. When I was a teenager. One of our youth leaders shared a story about him getting eye surgery, LASIK, and I never could really identify or relate to people who wore glasses. I know that I wanted glasses because they looked cool. Other than that, was not really appreciative of my 2020 vision until he described getting LASIK surgery and walking around without glasses or contact lenses for the first time in his life. And he said he could see leaves. And I was like, what do you mean you could see the leaves? Everyone can see the leaves. And he described the fact that he couldn't separate individually leaves. Trees were just a blur. I was like, what? So I think that for me translates to our lives sometimes. You know, we live a daily life where we're sort of like, okay, this is cool and that is happening, but the daily grind part of it that kind of makes us miss out the little things, you know, the tiny little daily appreciative things that we so often take for granted. So that's what I want to remind myself on a daily basis when it comes to my vision and when it comes to gratitude, and having a healthy perspective on life, is to really see things for what they are. And the only way that you can do that is by slowing down. The only way that well, personally, I can do that is by incorporating daily habits that allow me to just sit and be still, whether it's the beginning of my day, the middle of my day, the end of my day, where Oprah talks about writing down gratitude or the 5 things that she's grateful for in her journal. I personally prefer to, my favorite moment of the day is after my workout when I have my coffee and I sit either at the gym cafe or at home and I, look out or in nature and really write down or just allow my mind to be still and see what comes out.